invited you, Marty, because I know not only do you have experience with this specific topic, but you were the one actually who illuminated me to this article even existing in the first place. It didn't actually find my radar, so I want to thank you personally, and I think our viewers here will thank you as well for bringing this to light, because this is a very important story, I think. Here you go. Los Angeles Times. Disneyland fans with disabilities enraged by changes. We had the worst day ever there. So the fallout from the DAS, or Disability Access Service, changes are in full effect right now, and you have people who are having a hard time of it. And so I'll read a little bit here, and I'm going to hand it off to you, Marty, because I think this is fascinating. Less than 2 hours after being dropped off at the most magical place on Earth, Florida resident Paula Roland cheerfully called her husband to take her and their son Noah home. That June 5th was supposed to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience at Disney World's Magic Kingdom. But days earlier, Noah, a non-verbal autistic child with sensory processing disorder, had been denied Disney's Disability Access Service, or DAS. The 8-year-old struggles to stand in line for more than 15 minutes, and the pass would have provided him with shorter wait times at attractions. Shortly after entering Disney World and attempting to wait in line with his family, Noah suffered an autistic meltdown, an involuntary and intensely emotional response to an overwhelming situation. He spent most of his time at the park being soothed by his mother inside a gift shop. It's hard to come back from that point, Roland said. We had the worst day ever there. And this article, which will, include segments of this in our coverage here today, goes on to outline many depressing experiences that people have had, and just the outrageous behavior from the Walt Disney Company in response to their concerns. Marty, I know you visited recently. You don't have to go into the details of that visit if you don't want to. No, but I know you had some personal experience.
I'm comfortable with it.
Please.
We recently stayed 3 nights at the Grand California Villas, and it was very, very, very expensive, for the stay, for the room we had, and we went with family members, and there was a member of our group who, the reason why we were mostly doing this is it's likely the last time they'll be able to visit the parks, and it's because they're suffering from late stages of Parkinson's, and it's very hard to maneuver the parks with a lot of people like in a wheelchair, let alone standing or for long periods of time or any of that. And anyone who knows anything about Parkinson's, it's like Alzheimer's on steroids in a sense, because it affects your body as well as your mind, and it's a really difficult thing to have to deal with, and it has its moments here and there. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. We waited for an hour in the 90-degree heat to talk to a person about DAS at the front gate, at the kiosks that are out there. For anyone that doesn't know, they're doing it where the ticket booths used to be. So you're out there, you're exposed, and it was an hour wait. We got there and explained the situation to a 19, 20-year-old cast member, probably still taking 101 classes at a JC, and had to explain to them, the problems that medically, physically limit you with this particular problem. And in 20 minutes, we were denied. And they recommended to us that we get Lightning Lane. And I told the cast member, I said, would you look at this individual? We are not going on Big Thunder. We're not going on Space Mountain. They can't handle it. We're not going on Rise of the Resistance. Is too jerky. Not that you could do, well, I guess you could under DAS, but, a lot of these things, Matterhorn, they wanted to go on Fantasyland rides, Peter Pan, the things that they grew up on, that they loved. And those rides are not ADA compliant as far as you cannot, they like to say, oh, you're in a wheelchair, run them through, they can stay in the wheelchair until you get to the end. Wheelchairs don't fit in those lines. They just don't, they're too tight spaced. You can't make the turns. And I was just, it blew my mind. I was like we all know the young lady who did a video about her being denied with the oxygen tank and stuff. And if it's not for these type of people, who is it for? And I'm not going to at all say it on at this platform or any platform, but I've become aware of absolute loopholes that you can use with one scenario and you get DAS. And my problem is the people who they wanted to stop taking advantage of it are always going to take advantage of it. They're going to find a way. It's the Death Star. You give them a blueprint, they're going to find the weakness, and they have found, like, people are taking advantage of this, and all you've done is you've alienated the people who really have issues that need this service. And now that was this individual's last time going to the park, probably. And we were there. We had a 2-story villa, 3 bedrooms, 4 balconies, and in 3 days we went on 5 rides.
Can we go back to laughing about Iger? This is heartbreakingly depressing.
This is what is so frustrating about these companies. They act like how inclusive they are, but yet these people just get left on the roadside like they don't care about them. That's disgusting and pathetic. I'm sorry you had to go
it's not putting aside the horrible lack of compassion involved and the lack of concern and the lack of hospitality involved on a purely financial basis. If you folks have any idea what just the hotel part of that trip cost Marty and his family, and the fact that A, they will never do it again, and B, everybody who hears the story will think 3 times about doing it again. That's terrible. Well,
and I don't want to put you on the spot there, Marty, but you share this on Twitter. And
this was the best part of our trip. Like, this is where we would go back so that she could, the individual could cool off, and that we could relax as a family when we couldn't be in the park, because of the situation. It's crazy, man. The cast member, first of all, these are CMs, and they're some of them are very young. There's no medical criteria that they have trained, that they're really trained for, to sit there and make decisions on what certain things are. I'm having to explain what Parkinson's can do. And one of the responses I got back during this 20-minute conversation was, "Oh, is that what Michael J. Fox has?" Oh. And so I'm like, so that's your knowledge on this particular disease. I'm telling you, whatever you're struggling with, when you go there to that gate, or to that ticket booth, more, you've struggled more with that disability than they even read a paragraph on, and they're making the call on it, on whether or not it's appropriate or not.
And didn't they say they were going to have medical professionals that were going to assist these cast members in making these decisions? Have you seen that at all?
Well, no. Well, I didn't see that in any of my, I was there for an hour. I didn't see any second opinion. It's
sooner or later, somebody's going to go undercover in the training and come out and show pictures of bosses saying, "When in doubt, tell them no. We don't want to do that."
And I get they're behind an 8 ball, and they're in the way they do this, in that HIPAA laws are there, and that's why some other parks go with a third party, let them decide it, and keep that information separate. I'm of the belief that Disney, if they did go with third party, would still want the information given back to them, and that's where the HIPAA violation, when you start transferring information from one that you received back to Disney. So,
and then a month later, you read a story in the newspaper about some hack that compromised all that information somehow.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. To me, it was super frustrating. And again, I was like, it's who is it for if it's not for people like that young woman that made the video, and the person I was with?
And what about people who are the members of the family of the person with the affliction, who maybe they haven't got long to live? Maybe they haven't got long to do anything. And someday, 10 or 20 years from now, they can say, "Gosh, I still remember that wonderful day we had with Grandma at Disneyland. Remember when we went and they were so nice, and we got to get ahead of the rides and make it comfortable for her and give her a great memory, and a great memory to last all of our lives." That's all going to go away. And folks, let me tell you that
Sounds
it's
like it
worse.
already has, honestly.
It's worse than you think. The folks backstage, Vash and Pro and Jonas and everybody, have been working on a story. The story has not been released yet because we all wanted to make sure that we verified every detail. I am now informed, literally while we've been talking, by Pro, that story is coming out tomorrow. Meanwhile, when I heard about it 3 or 4 days ago, it made me incensed because it wasn't just about the kind of thing Marty's talking about. It was about actions similar regarding disabled people that could have meant losing somebody's life, that could have meant serious injury of relatively healthy but disabled people because the cast members were trained in a way that I can't even imagine. Now, I still cannot give you the details until it formally comes out. But 3 days ago, I got so angry about it, I wrote a piece for That Park Place and sent it off to John Trent. And we all decided, well, we better hold on to it for a day or two because the piece approaches it obliquely without the specific story in it. But it's something to look for on That Park Place tomorrow. You will see my story. And the specifics are awful enough, but what it says in a broader sense about what they call management
Right.
At Disney nowadays, and it's just plain shockingly, dangerously horrible. And the article is entitled, "How Bad Is It? This Bad, When Good Enough Management is Not Good Enough." So look for that on That Park Place tomorrow. Thanks.
And if you're watching a highlight of this show, the link to that will be in the description. How about that, Lou?
Oh, right. And it'll be out on the 11th.
Right.
Pro just literally let me know backstage while we were going through this. So that's why I'm breaking into your story.
Absolutely.
With this one, because,
No
man,
problem.
If you have a pulse, it will curl your hair, what they did to these people. Shocking.
And we know why the company makes decisions like this. I mean, a lot. That was a highlight from our live stream on That Park Place Podcasts online, where the full stream can be found at the link in the description. But what about you? What were your thoughts on this particular story? Please let us know in the comments below. Like this video if you did like this video. Share us out as it helps us out tremendously against the YouTube algorithm. And thank you so much for watching. T3BO. Please comment, like, and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to That Park Place Podcasts online, your source for exclusive content and highlights from WDW Pro, The Pro Show, and That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.